Yeah, I'm just wanted to touch on a couple of items, and uh, but to be honest, we'll probably talk about this also in the Commissar Weekly. But I was just interested to get your opinion on a couple of things. So first of all, let's just do a quick little roundup of Hacktoberfest so far. So I was just looking, and it looks like we have eight or potentially nine closed issues so far tagged with the Hacktoberfest tag, and we have more or less the same amount of issues under that are being worked on at the moment. So that's pretty good. If we keep this momentum going for the rest of the month, I think we can definitely consider Commissar's participation in Hacktoberfest a success, because we're really close to the number of 60 contributors to the project. So this is over the project's lifetime, and that's a pretty cool number. I think that was close to one of the objectives for the year. So we're kind of closer to that. So yeah, we I see that that you've added that you think we should tag them with Hacktoberfest accepted when merged. So that's one way. But if I'm not mistaken, and I can share my screen, what I read in the Hacktoberfest participation section. Let me just share my screen so we're all looking at the same thing. But yeah, we can still do it just to make sure that we're not that every PR is being merged. I'm just going to pop this out. Cool. So over here in the participation for the projects or maintainers, I think. Yeah. So it says, be ready to review pull requests, accepting those that are valid by merging them, leaving an overall review, or by adding the Hacktoberfest accepted label. So from that, I kind of understand that we can add it, but if a Hacktoberfest labeled issue is closed or merged, then it will count towards it. But yeah, if we want, let's just add the label just in case.
I have one little experience here. So, like last year, I had contributed to a repo. So it failed to merge during Hacktoberfest, but since they added the Hacktoberfest accepted, like it got accepted into Hacktoberfest, they counted the PR. So like that's exactly how it works. So if
Perfect.
even
So
if you do not merge it and you add the tag, then like it gets accepted to the Hacktoberfest.
perfect. So yeah. So let's do that, because I'm just wondering, maybe even though we are merging to develop, do you think there might be a possibility that it doesn't count it until we merge to master? Probably not, right?
No, I don't think so. Like I think it will even if it doesn't get counted, then I think someone will complain about it, and then we can add it.
Exactly. Perfect. So yeah, so I'll do that later on today. I'll just add the accepted, Hacktoberfest accepted uh, to all of the issues. Okay, so let's keep that open there. So cool. So we have we're one away from 60, so that's pretty cool. So yeah. Okay, so I had a few questions for the group. Okay. Oh, what do you think of using holopin.io? I've been.
Well,
Does anybody have any experience? Oh, hey, Mohammed.
I have
I
been
don't have
using it.
experience
Yeah,
with it. I have seen a lot of like open source projects using it, like to distribute badges, especially for the hack for Oktoberfest. So maybe that's something we can think about. If you go to the landing page and on the testimonial section, if you can scroll to the bottom, you can see examples of companies. For instance, this is Docker. They have been participating and they have made like a dedicated badge for like contributors to collect it once they have merged a certain amount of PRs. So yeah, we're just throwing it here in the chat. to have everyone feedback if that's something we would like, we would need to consider for this Oktoberfest or even after Oktoberfest to bring some gamification to the contribution to the project.
Cool. Yeah. Philip, were you going to say something there?
Yes, I wanted to touch on Olympian rights. I think it could even go beyond Oktoberfest, like Mohammed has mentioned, where we could just distribute badges as required, probably after 3 PRs, 10 PRs, just distributing badges that can either show up on their GitHub profile as well, or just be in their Holopin profile. Yeah.
Great. I love it. So I'm just guessing we can loop in the design team, either Ali or Yuan, right? We can. The cool thing is that we already have a cute mascot in Purplin that can be easily turned into an interesting badge. That would be the move, right? Looping in the design team, Mohammed?
Yeah, exactly. As you mentioned, I think we already have a cool beaver that we could use, like leverage for the badges. So yeah. So I just noticed this in the last few days, and I thought that could be interesting. So yeah, maybe we can check your side and see how we can make it possible.
Perfect. Yeah, great. Yeah, let me write up an issue for that on my side. Great.
Please
Go ahead.
consider one more thing. Like Holopin also has a kind of used to have. I don't really know whether they still have or not. But they used to have an open source program where they used to give their services free for open source projects.
Okay, yeah, so that's definitely worth checking out to see if we can apply for that, if we're eligible for that. Yeah, I'll do. Yeah, I'll check that out a little bit later on, maybe over here in the pricing. Cool. Thanks for those ideas. Another question, and it's cool that you're here, Philip. I was just wondering, should we prioritize creating a video or a blog post about how to use the onboarding wizard, because it's out now as part of the 3.1.1 release, but there's no documentation that reflects that, right? So users might either just stumble upon it or maybe potentially even get stuck. What do you think, in your opinion, could be a little bit more useful, a video or a blog post, or both?
Well, I think both could work for people who would prefer video content and for those that prefer written content, right? But then we could start with the blog post if it's much easier to create. I think the blog post might be easier, right? And then we could set that up, and if there are people asking for further assistance, then we could require to do the video so that they could always go to YouTube to see that as well.
Great. I'm just thinking, do you have is writing a blog post for the onboarding wizard something that you'd be keen on doing, or because I can do the video for sure, and I can probably do it next week at some point. Do you think you would like to pick
Okay.
up the blog?
Okay, let me try my hands on writing the blog post. Yeah, because I haven't written a blog post before, but I could try that.
Yeah, I was just thinking, since you are kind of like the closest person that implemented it, and yeah, you can get a rough draft and then just send it our way, and we can help you out if you need to update screenshots or the flow. But I think you could be a really good person to write it up. So perfect. So I'll take the video, and then we'll get that uploaded as soon as possible for Onboarding Wizard. Cool.
All right.
Thanks a million. Another thing that came up that I wanted to speak to you all about is, let me just have a quick look at this this issue about DigitalOcean. let's see. DigitalOcean not bringing the cost of volumes. So this is something that I'm going to add the Hacktoberfest tag to, because I think it shouldn't be too difficult to address the cost calculation for DigitalOcean volumes, especially since other DigitalOcean services are already calculated. So I think this might be an easy fix. But there was an interesting comment here from the person who raised the issue, saying that at the moment he only sees the up-to-date monthly cost, and he mentions that it would be cool to have an estimated monthly cost section. And if we think about Commissar at the moment, we don't have a section in which we have a way to show the estimated, or a place to show the estimated monthly cost kind of prediction, but but it could be interesting, right? And I think Mohammed mentioned that it is something that we could do. Does anything come to mind initially where we could support this?
Yes. So I was thinking, again, it will be an estimate, so it won't be accurate, since today we don't use like the provider's API for the forecast part. But since today we are able to provide the up-to-date monthly cost by calculating the cost from the first day of the month to the current day of the month. So I think if the cost is constant in a way that it's the same cost like from a day to another, so I think we can still like give an estimate of how the cost will be by the end of the month by just multiplying like the average daily cost to like the numbers of days of that specific month. So yeah, so I was thinking there is a possibility where we could like bring this like information to Commissar inventory by adding a new column called estimated cost or something like that. We can check with the design how we can make it fits the table, but I think from a technical perspective there is something we can do here to provide the estimate of how the cost will be by the end of the month.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I totally agree. Let me just fire up Commissar here just quickly. It could be cool if we had, say for example, in the bill here, maybe like a small little button where we could kind of toggle between up to the day cost and then kind of cost prediction or cost projection, potentially toggling here, or just a fifth widget here in this widget bar.
Yeah, it could be a possibility. It could be also something we could include on the Cost Explorer. Like the Cost Explorer today widget, we display just the cost breakdown, but we could like have like some like the forecast as well for the upcoming months, based on how much the infrastructure cost the users so far based on the data we know. So yeah, it's still like an estimate, so it's not gonna be accurate, but that could give some trends or ideas on things they need to keep an eye on for the future.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking maybe there would be kind of like maybe like the first month we don't show anything because we're kind of like calibrating or something, like checking the behavior, because if we just take from one day to the next, and if it's the very first data that comes in, I mean the output of the projection could just be a nothing, like a not very useful. So maybe some kind of level of calibration might be interesting. But cool. That was those were the two main questions. The one last thing was like, have you seen in the Help Commissar Discord channel or in the general channel any particular patterns, any particular things that people have been struggling with that we could potentially help people out with? Only if something has come up.
think there is something we can do, but that's something we already discussed. But we could also get feedback from Azan and Philip on it, which is like the how like to stop commissar, especially with the onboarding wizard. I think it will simplify a lot, like how to get started. So I think maybe like thinking about updating documentation or making a video or something in the upcoming days on how to run commissar, especially with the onboarding wizard. I think it will make people get started easily because that's one of, I would say, the learning curve new contributors need to face when they came to the project. They need like, especially if they don't have a lot of experience with cloud providers, which is sometimes the case. So they don't know like how to stop or configure the configuration file. So maybe making some resources about that can help making the setup more seamless, especially now with this new feature. That will help.
Perfect. Yeah. That's the main pattern that I've seen. Also, people not fetching resources or not getting any output or getting some seemingly weird errors in the CLI. So perfect. So yeah, I agree. I'll get the video done by next week. And Philip, if you don't mind, I'm just going to create the ticket for the blog post for the onboarding wizard. I'll add it to Linear, and yeah, and
Oh,
I
I
think
already added it.
sorry.
I already added the ticket.
Oh, nice, perfect. I love that proactivity, and yeah, and with regards to a due date, I think if not for this Friday, but maybe if we could get a potential first draft for the following Friday, that would be great.
Yeah, so I could set up for a draft for next week Friday. Yeah.
Ideal. So unless does anyone else have anything that they would like to bring up? We're going to be talking about more of the open issues and stuff in the Commissar Weekly, but this was just kind of like a more of a high level question and answer section. Because if not, yeah, we can call it a day. Okay, guys. Thanks a million for joining. I'll upload this later on to YouTube. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you on Discord.